pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get the bank balance, please?
Yes, sir. The general account balance, $613,401.46. Sewer general, $183,575.67. Municipal court, $38,363.26. The corrections, $2,130.61. Cash bond, $7,338.58. Judicial, $3,860.26. 4 and 5 cent gas, $21,809.24. 7 cent gas, $6,432.89. Rebuild Alabama, $63,090.20. Sewer customer deposits, $31,869.52. Sewer capital, $26,369.80. CDB grants, $50.04. American Rescue Plan Act, $268,365.86. Capital savings, $26,100.06, for a grand total of $1,292,756.65.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the bank balances and minutes as written? Motion to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the bank balance and minutes? From Larry, second from Scott, all in favor? Aye. All right. Bare bones. Mr. Craig, you got anything? Okay. All right, so we'll get to the agenda items. Resolution 22-030, talking about the CDBG bid recommendation. Jake?
Hey, good evening. Seeing your packet there, the city received bids for the CDBG project August the 15th of this year. We did have 3 bidders. We had a number of plant holders of record, but only 3 bids received. Those bids range from $539,230 to $587,440. That's significantly higher than our original estimates for this project. I think what's shown on the screen there is the bid tabulation. So it's a unit price bid, so this shows you all the different unit prices that each contractor utilized to put their total bid together, and the total price is listed there. So the low bid contractor is Portland Utilities Construction Company out of Portland, Tennessee. They're a very qualified contractor that does this type of work all over the southeast. The work described is pipe bursting of the sewer line installation along Brockway Road, really from the old Highway 431 intersection north to just north of Craft Craig Road before it gets into the sewer pump station there. We were trying to do as many feet as we could. Because that project is so over budget, we are recommending, or I am recommending to the city that we negotiate with that low bid contract. So no need to rebid anything, but we need to negotiate scope and cost in order to bring the fee down to a reasonable amount. For everybody's just information, what you've received from ADEM or what's been approved is a $350,000 total grant allocation. That is expected to cover the construction costs and any engineering costs, but the town is required to put in a minimum of a 10% share in that. So for the $350,000 previously, you guys had approved a total of $35,000 to go towards the total project budget. So we originally were working with a budget of $385,000, but that included the engineering design fees, the grant administration fees, and the construction fees. So you can see we're well above that total. There are some stipulations on the grant. Specifically, it must still benefit a reasonable number of community members, and it must not differ extremely from the scope of work that was provided to ADECA in order to award that grant. So I'm working with the grant administrator to make sure that we are still within that criteria as we negotiate with the low bid contractor. What we have come to at this point, we have agreement from ADECA tentatively and our grant administrator to cut a portion of the project scope which would remove Craft Craig Road from the project scope. So the original project scope, and I'm going to go to the board. We started at this manhole here, and we were going to pipe burst all the way up Brockway. We're going to come down A.F. Smith, a short section to the first manhole. We're going to continue up Brockway North to Craft Craig, and then come all the way down Craft Craig to D&M Auto, stop at that manhole, and then we would go north just a couple hundred feet. In order to get the project cost down, what we have talked about or discussed with the contractor would be to perform not pipe bursting, but a CIPP, a cured in place liner in the existing pipe. So the difference in the project's pipe bursting actually breaks up the existing pipes in the ground, and it leaves you with a brand new pipe in its place. Slip lining, or CIPP, cured in place liner, takes the existing pipe, shoves a membrane through it, and then adheres that membrane to the sides of the existing pipe on the interior. So the goal of the project was to reduce I&I, so infiltration into the wastewater system from rainwater and flooding water and all those other things that are going to your plant and working their way through your system. So the CIPP liner, while it wasn't the first alternative due to cost, it is the only alternative that lets you get a significant portion of your project complete and meet ADECA's rules. So ADECA has agreed that we can remove Craft Craig Road, and we can approve a project that would do a CIPP, a cured in place pipe liner, for the duration of the rest of the project. We would keep all the beneficiaries intact except for these 3 homes. So the residents in those 3 homes wouldn't be counted as beneficiaries towards the project. But in my opinion, anytime you reduce the I&I in this system all the way down, they're going to see an increase in sewer flow in their area, because this line goes this way and then goes south. And so they will still be improved. We just can't count them for ADECA's accounting purposes. So you see there in your packet, and I probably skipped too far into the project before talking about what we've done to get the price down. With the CIPP liner, removing Craft Craig Road, we have come to an agreement with the low bid contractor for a total price of $365,565. What we'd have to add to that, and what you see on the next sheet there, is a total tally of the overall project costs.
Sorry, I missed that one.
So while the contract bid construction price is $365,000, when you add in the engineering fees and the grant administration fees, the total price of the full scope of work, according to ADECA, is $442,915. So if you take away the $350,000, which is the CDBG grant allotment, the town would need to fund a total dollar value of $92,915. So that's well above the $35,000 originally approved by the council. We cannot vote to approve this tonight, but we wanted to bring that to you to discuss, and I want to go over a few other things. But I wanted to highlight there is a public hearing required for ADECA, which will allow the public to come comment on the scope changes for the project. So they won't be involved in the dollar values of the construction price, but they will have the opportunity to speak as residents to the validity of the scope with the reduction. We don't expect any issues there, obviously, but they have the ability to come talk to the grant administrator, which would then be forwarded to ADECA for their consideration before approving the project. I understand that $92,000 is a significant amount of money. I'm continuing to work with that contractor to bring the price down. There are a few items that still meet the intent of the scope. You're still given the same distance. We're still hitting all the same beneficiaries, but that could be pulled out. For instance, there's a manhole. Right now, your line actually stops and ends in a T-fitting. So a T-fitting and a clean out is just at the end of your line, there's a pipe that turns 90 degrees and just comes up to the surface of the ground, and it's flush, and it's got a little screw cap on it. I feel like that's an area where you are getting some infiltration. That's a bad connection. That's not how you want to leave an end of the line, sewer line. So in my project scope, we originally were going to replace that with a manhole. That in itself is about $12,000. That could be cut from the scope to get this price down even further. So there's a number of items like that that we're still talking about that I'll have a full number on prior to your next meeting. What I will call incidentary or ancillary scope items that we can pull out without any complaint from ADECA that would save the town money, I would caution you, though, that there are still some considerations there that you want to take into account. I don't want to take this project and do anything that doesn't benefit the town, but in my opinion, when you're extending your CIPP or your liner that far, we're getting about 3,000 feet, which is significant distance for the project. Whether the manhole stays or goes is a decision that will be based on cost, but I would recommend, with cost where it's at and the need to build a new sewer plant, that we entertain any and all reductions that we can get. So I think total with the contractor negotiations right now, there's probably about $20,000 to $25,000 that we're discussing that may still be able to be pulled out of the project, and working towards a more final number than what you see here. So this, again, the bids came in the 15th, so we're only 7 days past that, and 2 of those days are weekend days. So we're working actively with the contractor to work that price down to something that we can all agree on. They're excited about the project. It's still well within their desire to come do it. They haven't lost interest just because of the scope reduction. They do slip lining all the time, just like they do pipe bursting. So I'll be quiet at this point and allow you guys to ask me any questions that you have on the project.
So like we talked, that's how the Hamer Road refurb was done, was slip lining.
Exactly. So that project as well was bid as a pipe bursting project. Pipe bursting is a little better because you do wind up with a brand new pipe versus using your existing. What you generally run into problems with the CIPV liner is if when you build a new house and you try to tie that sewer in, it can get a little funny with the connection to the pipe because you got to get through the PVC plastic pipe, but then you also got to get through that liner and then get it to reattach. So most of your issues with the liner are on any places where you need to come add a new service connection or a lateral. It can all be fixed. It can all be monitored. There are things you can do to fix that when you do make a tap to it. It's just something to be aware of in the future. But it's certainly an acceptable practice. It's done quite often, and a lot of times it's done over pipe bursting for monetary consideration.
Larry, you got any questions? Scott? Tim? No. Good. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. All right, so we've got resolution 22-031. Which is donating $250, I think, to the New High School softball team.
We've done volleyball, band, something else. I don't remember what else, but we haven't done this, so.
We've done football. Well, band and football, I guess.
Like I mentioned before, I think maybe next year we should do one lump thing for all the sports and activities, but we did not do that this year, so this was submitted and I knew y'all would want to see it, so here we are.
Terry, what do you think?
This is what we usually do, so might as well do it. See a problem with it?
Tim?
Yeah, I'm good.
Scott?
Yeah.
Larry?
Good.
All right, do I have a motion to pass resolution 22-031?
Motion to pass resolution 22-031.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Scott. Motion by Tim, all in favor? Aye. All right. So then we've got a proclamation.
This is just for you to read and proclaim it, there's no vote needed.
Okay. Proclamation of NICU Awareness Day, September 30th. Whereas 500,000 babies are admitted to the neonatal intensive care unit every year. And whereas families of NICU babies struggle to find resources, support, and education, and whereas funding for research into the causes of a NICU stay, as well as a holistic care of NICU families, is vital, and whereas NICU Awareness Day provides an opportunity for families whose lives have been affected by NICU to share their story, to honor dedicated health professionals, and to meet others and know they are not alone. And whereas the establishment of NICU Awareness Month will also provide visibility to research that improves the quality of life for NICU babies and their parents. Now there, I-4 Tony Craig, Mayor of the City of Owens Crossroads, do hereby proclaim September 30th, 2022 as NICU Awareness Day in Owens Crossroads. All right. Christie, what you got?
The city limit signs are installed thanks to CT, Will, and Andrew. If you'll flip to those, please. This one is, correct me, CT if I'm wrong, this one's northbound and the right one is southbound.
Correct.
Yep.
I don't have
So-
glasses, so I'll take your word for it.
This one is located in, what's the last name? Mr. Richardson's yard, pasture right there off of Highway 431, right before you get to Pierce Tire and Will. And this one is in, is that Wilkes? Who's that there, that property there?
I don't know.
Adair, sorry. Mrs. Adair's pasture there. Both gave permission, and those are installed. They look great. So thank y'all very much, guys. Appreciate it. Jake Roth has been approved to be the lead engineer on the sewer plant project after clarification from our attorneys and the league. So you feel good about all that? Everything's good to go?
I do. I've gathered most of the sub-consultant fees. Again, I'll reiterate that most of this work will be managed by me, but not performed specifically by me. But should be a cost-effective way to get that designed and bid for the city.
Thanks, Jake. On Friday, September 9th at 8:30, there's going to be a Halloween drive-through planning meeting for anyone who wants to be involved in that. We're going to have it in the conference room if there's enough seats. If not, we'll move into the courtroom. Tuesday, September 13th, the old brush truck, which is now the public works truck, will go to the shop, and it will have the fire department radio pulled out, and the lights will be changed from red to yellow, and all the items removed will be boxed up and returned to Shannon to be used for any future use needed. Sneed Park update. So they had their concession stands judged by the health department or reviewed by the health department, and they received 100 before opening day, and they had opening day on Saturday. These are some pictures. This is one of the reserve officers, Sonny Hatcher. Is that correct?
Hatcher,
Yeah, Hatcher. He took the Humvee down and let the kids see it. They had blow-ups and slides, and Nanny's Lemonade was there. Will, if you'll change the page. There's Mayor there on the field speaking to the people that were there, and they had games, and concession stands were open. And at the end of the day, they celebrated with fireworks. Police department was there. They brought the Humvee. Jace Baker took the Tahoe by there a while when he could, wasn't out on the road doing stuff. And they also caught a rooster for the ball teams that was on the loose. So that was pretty funny. I don't know. Jason may know. I don't
I
know.
have no idea what color it was.
And then OXR VFT took their fire truck took it out there too for the kids to see. So for fall ball this year, there's 14 teams and 145 kids. So they're doing great. Everything's going well. And then Jeff Bess also stated that he and his team are hoping to have everything cleared out of the old rec league offices by the end of this week. So that should be taken care of. Also, at the fire hall, there are 2 new phone lines being installed, and the phones are going to be like the ones here at City Hall. We'll be able to transfer calls to them. They'll have messages and So it'd be really good for communication between the two buildings and for us, instead of giving out cell phone numbers, we'll just transfer to that office, so. And then the last thing I have is the Board of Abatement appointments. I had sent out an email, August 12th, requesting that you all send me an email back stating who you would like to appoint. I said, you can choose people from the Board of Abatement, but it doesn't have to be from the Board of Abatement as long as they don't serve in any other capacity within the city and they are a citizen of Owens Crossroads. I received, Tim, I just need to confirm, you submitted Andrew Craig?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Tony, you suggested or submitted Houston Johnson?
Did.
Okay. Larry Furlow, you submitted Missy Magoo?
Correct.
Okay, and Scott Baker, you submitted Adrian Patton?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, Mr. Terry and then James, when he gets back, I need those submitted before the 13th of September, if at all possible. This is something that is required to be done, so we have to get this done so we can go forward. So, on those. And that's all I have. Oh, well, I'll go back to that later. So, that's it for me.
Building permits, since our last council meeting, we had $4,112.74 collected for business building permits, and the estimated home value is $1,606,300. That, the builders give these estimates to us for these homes that they sell. So that's since our last council meeting.
Do you want to tell them about what we're doing because of so many homes?
Okay. Since we're having so many new homes come into the community, we're gonna have a lot of new residents. We decided that it would be a good idea to put together a welcome package for the new residents coming into the community. So we are sending letters to all the businesses within the communities, see if they have information they'd like to put in. They want to provide a flyer for us to put in the welcome packet, and we can do that.
Churches, schools.
Churches, schools, all the businesses around our community that might want to provide information for them. Whatever they give us, we're not making the copies for them. They will provide the copies for us to put in this welcome packet. Just to help the new members of the community know what's going on around here and, welcome them, help them feel a part of our community.
Trying to make sure they use our local services, businesses, and things like that as well. So, we're pretty excited about that because people really need to know those things. I think Tim had something as well.
Yeah, last month y'all approved allotted some money for road repairs over here in Deer Path. Got an update on that. Nick had contacted me, I believe, over the weekend or maybe last Friday. Stated that he was planning on getting out here towards the end of this week to make those repairs. While I had him on the phone, I also asked him about if they was gonna go ahead and try to finish up the little bit of repair over here at the bridge that wasn't quite smooth enough. He said yes, they was gonna do that. And I also asked him while he was here, we've got a bad place back here around the dumpster on our paving, and we talked about maybe actually putting concrete down around that to support the weight of the truck. And so he's supposed to get us an estimate together on that little project back there also when he comes out.
Thanks, sir. All right, Brandy, you got anything?
I do. In the packet, I found a little report, and then I actually talked to Daryl, who is our software guy today, and asked him if he could put 3 more things on there for me, which is our case, like a case opening, the warrant log, and the case is closed. So as of right now, it stands that we have 1,230 cases are still open. The balance is $151.56. We have 764 warrants on the log, and I've closed 58 cases. And then I did everything else.
Thank you, good job. All right, so CT, you got anything?
I just want to say this town is growing by leaps and bounds, and everybody's responsibility is growing. I just want to thank everybody, especially the clerks, taking care of all the paperwork, and a lot of it's just additional paperwork that they've never had to do before, so everybody's having to learn to do new things. I just want to compliment how all of them are doing well. Keeping us all in line.
Would you share with the group and Tim about George?
Okay, I had the parking lot cut today, the bad spot, and the county's gonna come, they're gonna dig out all the bad stuff, gonna dig down to hard base, and they're gonna put a hard compact base in there, and we're gonna put about 10 to 12 inches of concrete in there, 5,000 pound PSI with fiber and steel.
Okay.
And you go out there and look at it, maintenance already seesawed it today. So, got pretty good, all the bad, and there's also a bad hump right out here. They're gonna take and while the county's here, they're gonna take and dig that up, and patch it, put a cold patch on that for us while they're here. And so, just where we're at with that, because we've been looking at it, because that truck is chewing that up, I mean, big time. And I've cut a relief ditch, I don't know if you know, it was all holding water. I brought my tractor up here, cut the ditch, just letting that water get off of there. Once we get the concrete poured, it should be, I hope, good.
Thanks.
Thanks. Will, you got anything? Nothing. Okay. All right, sewer department and business license.
So Miss Teresa couldn't be here tonight, or isn't here tonight. She has a report in your packet. So she's opened 35 accounts in July and 38 in August by the 18th. So just constant, she's found, you see the list there at the bottom of her report. They have closed accounts and they need to be opened ASAP. We've also found since then, how many on Guthrie, I think it is? Yes, several more.
Not sure.
Several more in different areas of the community that have sewer and they have not been paying ever. And so these are things that she works on and tracks down constantly. We're all working together trying to make sure she knows about different things and she's telling us different things. So it really is cool how it all ties together and works together. But that's her report there. And if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask me and I will ask her because I don't know all the answers on her report. She works very diligently on this stuff. So,
She does a good job.
yeah.
All right. Chief,
Yes, sir. For the month of July, we had 250 calls for service, 2 traffic accidents, 46 written warnings, 58 written citations, 7 arrests, and 20 case reports. And also, some of you may know, may not know, one of our officers, Logan Johnson, Thursday is his last day. He's decided he wants to be a fireman, so he's been accepted at the Huntsville Fire, and he starts the fire academy Monday. So, but he is still going to stay on as part-time and help us when he can. We have hired another officer, and he'll begin work on Friday. He's already certified, familiar with the area, has a good, rapport with all the community and the officers around us. So, excited to see him come on. His name is Matt Ellis. Yep. He was a sergeant with the Sheriff's Department for a while, and then got out of law enforcement for a little bit, and went to work in New Hope for a little while, and now decided to come and join on us.
that's good. Shannon, you got anything?
Nothing not in the report, unless you got some questions.
Okay.
Motion. After the meeting next week, I'll look to probably start answering EMS calls within 10 days after that meeting.
We've already got a few certified EMS guys, right?
Terry, you got anything?
Just want to thank Shannon for how hard he's working at this. I know it's time consuming, takes a lot of effort to put all this together, and I think he's doing a really good job. Jake, how are we coming on our sewer plan? Just still planning and getting things together?
We are working with ADEM. We were talking to them, I had a conversation with them earlier this week about what's needed to get that grant moving. So, but I can tell you, one update is we have moved from just being an application in the pool to being assigned to an actual case manager or project manager at ADEM. And there's an understanding and agreement that the funding will come in a grant for the design work. There's just a few things we got to button up to get that funding moving. So we had a conversation this week, and as soon as some data comes in, we'll be submitting that down to ADEM for them to review, which should then give them the turnaround and fund that effort. So what the expectation would be receive a letter from ADEM that approves the grant funding for the city. They don't send the money up front. They repay as invoices are sent in. So that's how that would generally work.
Anything else, Terry?
No, I knew he was working hard on it. I just wanted to let people realize how hard he's working at it, and I appreciate it. So thank you for all your hard work. That's it.
Thank you. Tim, you got anything? Scott? Larry? I want to echo what CT said. These women around here keep everybody straight. Some of us it's harder to do than others, but they do a good job also with the documentation here with the town. So do I have a motion? Motion. Got a motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.